Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shonen Flopcast Language Supplemental. I am once again your host, Tucker Watley, and today we are covering the series Time Paradox Ghostwriter. There are some interesting things to go over concerning the Japanese language and Japanese pronunciation, as well as the kanji being used in here, so let's jump into it without any further ado. First up, we have a pretty easy one. It's the author of the work. It's just Ichima Kenji. Ichima Kenji. Remember the ma at the end isn't ma, and that Japanese doesn't have varying levels of stress. The kanji in his name means like city truth. I don't know. But yeah, that one's not very hard. Ichima Kenji. Ichima Kenji. Next up is the artist of the manga. His name is Date Tsunehiro. Date Tsunehiro. Date Tsunehiro. Funny thing about this is that the Date, his family name, apparently means dandyism in Japanese, which I think is a weird, funny last name or family name to have. Next, we have the name of the main character. And this one is going to be a little bit more difficult, and I'm going to have to introduce a new concept in Japanese pronunciation that I haven't really gone over before in these. So his name is Sasaki Teppei. Sasaki Teppei. Sasaki Teppei. So, the first part, the family name, Sasaki, is not that difficult. You just gotta keep in mind that the two Sas get about an equal amount of pronunciation. So it's not Sasaki, it's not Sasaki, it's Sasaki. Sasaki. But then you have his personal name, which is Teppei. So, you have the EI at the end, which represents a long E sound, so that's an E that gets two beats. And that's something that you've seen before. But the two P's, so Japanese distinguishes between long and short vowels, but it also distinguishes between long and short consonants, which is something that we don't have anymore in English. We did a long time ago. Modern Italian actually has this distinction. So you see words in Italian with two letters by each other, like ending with ELLO or having NN. That doubled letters, that actually means something. That's actually considered a different sound in Italian, and it actually works pretty much exactly the same way in Japanese. So, there are some sounds that are easy to pronounce long. You basically just hold them. So this is like the letter N. You could just go like that. So any word that is a long N, you just hold that longer. But there are other sounds that are like P, which is a plosive sound, where it's just the air suddenly escaping from your mouth at one time. So you can't really just elongate that sound. So when you make that sound long, what's actually happening is that when you're pronouncing that P sound, you actually build up pressure as you're pronouncing it. You hold it, and there's actually a moment of silence while you're holding it, and then you release the pressure. It sounds weird, but it's like tepe versus teppe. So there is a moment of silence there. Tepe, tepe. So in words with long consonants like that, which are plosives like a P sound or a K sound or a T sound, that's how you do it. It's a tiny moment of silence while you gather basically potential energy in your mouth and release it. So once again, the name is Sasaki Teppei. Oh, and the kanji in Teppei means philosopher and peace. So I don't know if this guy has big things in his future, is destined for greatness or something, or is a very peaceful person. I don't know, but that's what the kanji means. Next, we have the other main character, and this one will also introduce another interesting pronunciation thing for Japanese. So this character's name is Ai no Itsuki. Ai no Itsuki. Ai no Itsuki. I'm sure you noticed I did something a little weird with the ts sound. That's because it's something in Japanese called a whispered vowel. So in Japanese, sometimes a syllable will get de-emphasized and the vowel sound will become barely pronounced, but it'll still not affect the rhythm of the word. So that sound will still get a beat in the rhythm, but the vowel will barely be pronounced, and it's basically just the consonant with just a ghost of the vowel. Some examples of this that you might already know. If you're into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the 4th JoJo is named Higashikata Josuke. His name is written out as Higashikata Josuke. But you notice when anyone says it in the anime or anything like that, they don't really pronounce the shi in Higashikata, and they don't really pronounce the in Josuke. These are whispered vowels, and it tends to happen a lot to shi and tsu and tsu. Those are mostly the most common ones, and I'm not completely sure what the rules are for when things get whispered like that, but it's fairly consistent because I can pretty much figure out what's going to be whispered just by looking at a word. If you're familiar with Naruto at all, then you know that one of the main characters' name is Sasuke, and people don't pronounce it usually as Sasuke. And one of the concepts, one of the groups in the series is the Akatsuki, and the Tsuki is actually the same Tsuki as in this name. Akatsuki literally means red moon. Akatsuki. Speaking of that, this person's name, the kanji in it, mean elegant moon, Itsuki. That's the given name of this character, and the elegant part is the same kanji that is in the artist Date's name, so I bet that was on purpose. And the family name, Aino, means indigo fields, so altogether it's a very pretty, elegant name. So once again, altogether, it's Aino Itsuki. And remember, it's not I know, it's Aino. Aino Itsuki. Aino Itsuki. Now let's move on to some minor characters. We have first up the artist assistant Akaishi Genki. Akaishi Genki. Akaishi Genki. So his name is Akaishi Genki. Aka is red. Ishi is stone, so his family name means red stone. And his personal name, Genki, means cheerful or energetic. And apparently I looked on the Wikipedia, and this dude is supposed to have red hair and red eyes. And he looks like a really cheerful, energetic sort of dude, so I bet this is like just a really on-the-nose naming sort of situation. So once again, it's Akaishi Genki. Akaishi Genki. Next up is the chief assistant, Yamane Jiro. Yamane Jiro. Yamane Jiro. So keep in mind that do is long and gets 2 beats. The kanji in his name, Yamane, means mountain root, or I guess it's like the foot of a mountain, like the whatever, like right where the mountain begins. You know what I mean. And the Jiro is apparently a type of Japanese sweet persimmon? I don't know, it's a weird personal name, but hey, whatever works for your parents. So once again, it's Yamane Jiro. Yamane Jiro. Yamane Jiro. Next up, we have another assistant. It's Igarashi Hajime. Igarashi Hajime. Igarashi Hajime. Something I'd like to point out is that the kanji in his family name, Igarashi, means 50 storms, which I just think is pretty awesome and metal. And Hajime means beginning. So if you're familiar with the series Hajime no Ippo, it's the same Hajime in that. So the name of that series is a pun. Hajime no Ippo could mean like rookie Ippo, but Ippo can also mean one step. So it could also mean the first step. So if you ever wondered what that series name meant, that's what it means. So the name of that character is Igarashi Hajime. Igarashi Hajime. Igarashi Hajime. Next we have the former editor, Kikuse. 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 Might have noticed that the k in the middle there most likely becomes a whispered vowel. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced as a whispered vowel like I talked about earlier. So it's probably Kikuse and not Kikuse. And that just means chrysanthemum in Japanese. Japanese. Oh boy. In Japanese. I can't believe I got that word wrong, but got chrysanthemum right. Anyway, it's kikuse. 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 Then there is the current editor, Muneoka. 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 So Mune means religious sect, and Oka means hill. So that's a weird name. Muneoka. So don't say like Muneoka. It's Muneoka. Muneoka. Remember, it's ka, not ka. And finally, we have the friend from art school, Okano. 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 It's not Okano, it's Okano. So the Oka is the same Oka as Muneoka. It's hill. And the no is the same no from Aino. That just means field, so the family name is Hill Field. Pretty regular, doesn't really mean anything. And that about wraps it up for this supplemental episode. I have been your host, Tucker Whatley, and you can follow me on the Twitters at Tucker Whatley, TuckerWhatley. And I also have a website if you're interested in looking at other things that I've done. That is tuckerwhatley.com, TuckerWhatley.com. Hope you've enjoyed the episode as much as I have, and see you, Space Cowboy.